The Comedy Central studios in New York crackled with the sardonic spark of a Thursday night taping on October 3, 2025, The Daily Show set, a minimalist arena of stark desks and glowing screens, pulsing under the harsh glare of overhead lights that mimicked a late-night interrogation room, the faint scent of stale coffee from the green room mingling with the buzz of a crowd primed for political punchlines. Jon Stewart, the 62-year-old satire savant with his rumpled gray hair and a rumpled navy blazer over a black tee, exuding that professorial edge honed from decades of dismantling dogma, paced the stage with his trademark fidgety fire. The live audience, a hipster horde of millennials, Gen Z skeptics, and comedy connoisseurs clutching IPAs and protest pins, roaring as the theme music thumped like a heartbeat on satire steroids. Tonight's monologue had already skewered the latest election absurdities, but the guest segment was the grenade. Meghan Markle, the 44-year-old Duchess of Sussex, poised in a tailored midnight blue sheath dress that blended Montecito minimalism with Manhattan polish, her caramel waves in a sleek low bun, a delicate pearl earring, Diana's heirloom whisper, dangling as she navigated the cheers with a gracious nod, settling into the interview chair with the grace of a diplomat dodging drones. Sly was there to plug her Archwell-backed podcast series, Echoes of Equity, a deep dive into systemic biases in media and monarchy, already viral on X for its unsparing Oprah-esque overlaps with her own exile. The applause tapered as Stewart launched with his velvet hammer, voice a nasal New York nasality. Meghan, from Suits to Spare, welcome to the Real Fake News Hour. Your podcast's dropping truth bombs on the British blob. How's it feel lobbing them from La La Land while the lads back home lob lawsuits? She chuckled, leaning forward with eloquent ease, recounting an episode unpacking the Duchess difficult trope as a modern witch hunt, her tone laced with wry resilience as she quipped about Archie's tiny fact-checker, grilling her on fairy tales, eliciting waves of knowing laughs that washed over the studio like a liberal lean-in. The crowd ate it up, Stewart nodding with feigned approbation, his fingers drumming the desk like a Morse code of mischief, the faint scar from a 9/11 dust-down twitching subtly with the thrill of the hunt. But as the banter bridged to broader biases, Stewart's eyes sharpened, that atheist activist's edge emerging like a scalpel from a sheath. Equity's the jam, but let's not polish the pitchfork, your echoes echo entitlement. Spare spared no one the frostbite frolics, now podcasts profit off palace pain. Ever pause to ponder if the Sussex saga's just another elite echo chamber, or is it the unfiltered fix we faux news folk fake? The probe pricked playfully at first, the audience tittering, Meghan's pearl swaying as she parried, John, echo chamber. The chamber was the crown, corking my cries on colorism, curbing my candor. Echoes of Equity echoes the erased, not the entitled. The vibe vibrated with voltage, the house lights humming hotter, producers in the booth tracking the Twitter tremor as the chat crested from clever to cutting. This wasn't mere mockumentary, it was a masterclass in media melee where Stewart's satirical scalpel sliced against Markle's measured manifesto, the first faint fault line fracturing the facade toward the fiasco that would fuel the feed's frenzy. As the segment's satirical sweet spot soured toward the break, The Daily Show set's sardonic sanctuary simmered with a sharper sting, Jon Stewart gesturing wildly with his coffee mug, dark brew sloshing like spilled secrets, his blazer bunching at the elbows as he absorbed Meghan's poise, the crowd's chuckles now a jagged jazz underscoring the uptick in unease. A clip from her podcast rolled on the screens, a montage of marginalized voices mocking media machinations, prompting Stewart to pivot with a raised brow. Marginalized, mighty, but let's margin the mess. Your Equity episodes eviscerate elites, Spare eviscerated your own, William's wedding woes, Charles's cold calls. Fans fist pump the fighter, but foes finger it as faux feminism. With Harry's homeland hustles for Invictus, is Echoes echoing empathy, or just echoing your own entitlement echo? The edge etched deeper, the gallery gasping in a gradient of guffaws and gripes, a smattering of oohs from the back rows blending with wary whispers as Meghan's pearl stilled, her voice steady but strung taut. Entitlement. John, the entitlement was the establishment, entombing my mental maelstrom, entangling my maternity in melanin myths. Echoes amplifies the authentic, not the aggrieved. Stewart's laugh landed like a late-night zinger gone rogue. Authentic. Honey, authentic's my act, roasting Bush to Biden without $1 billion buffer. Your buffer's the brand, Netflix nods, memoir moolah, now podcasts peddling pain is progress. Ever echo the irony, ditching duty for dollars while decrying the dazzle. The irony ignited, the audience fracturing into factions, progressive pals applauding Stewart's skewer, Sussex sentinels shifting with subtle solidarity, alone, mic drop. Slicing the suspense as Meghan's cheeks kindled crimson, her retort rising resolute, dollars. You dollar in disdain, Dishing on despair for demographics, Diana's demise for demographics. I've bartered my burdens for broader balm, you bomb barbs for the blue wave. The barbs barbed back, the house lights humming hotter, the control room's X-feed flickering with hashtag Meghan vs Jon flares from furtive feeds, memes of Stewart's muggas, truth torrent, toasting Meghan's perlas, Duchess decoy. Stewart surged, undaunted, bomb. Your bomb's the blame game, blaming the blob while banking on it. I lost my innocence to 9/11, rebuilt with ridicule. Your rebuild's remixing regrets into riches, admit the remix, or is that too unechoey? Meghan's hand hovered, brooch blazing like a beacon, remix. The remix was mandated, monetizing my misery to mute the monsters. This isn't equity, it's an elitist echo of your own. Gasps gilded the gallery, the set's synergy shredding as the skirmish escalated from epigrams to eviscerations, Stewart's satirical savagery sparring Meghan's steadfast sovereignty, every salvo a swing toward the snap where levity lacerated into the laceration that would launch the late-night lore. The monologue's minefield mined a maelstrom as the clock crested 11:52 p.m., Jon Stewart vaulting from his vantage with vaudeville vigor, mug marooned on the desk like a manifesto mid-sentence, his blazer askew in the ascent, echo of my own. Duchess, your echo's the entitlement encore, encoring exile for Emmys while we endure the echo. I echoed 9/11's ashes into activism, you echo exile into empire. You're done here, no more Duchess decibels drowning the discourse. Meghan manifested her mettle, mounting with MIDI momentum, mic unmasked with a misty manifesto, done. Your discourse is drenched in derision, deriding despair for demographics. Viewers, voice victories veiled in valor, not vexation. The gallery geysered into gale force glee and grief, a whirlwind of, Jon's got jokes. And, Meghan, stay savage, gizmos a gauntlet of grabbed glares as she glided toward the gloom's gulf, strides a stanza of sovereignty, her sapphire stare scorching the sphere, Daily Show. More like Daily Shade. Good night, glean grace, not grudge. Stewart, unyielding in the uproar, unleashed the ultimatum, grudge. Guards, guide her out, Daily's no den for ducal dirges, weave. Discourse without the drama, the decree drew Dorman from the dim, the din detonating in decibels of devotion and disdain, the cruise, cut to commercial. Clanging over the chaos as canned laughs clashed with the cue for quirky quips on quinoa and quantum. Upheaval unfurled unbound. X upended with hashtag Stewart kicks Meghan hurtling to heavenly heights, hijacked highlights harvesting hectadons by high midnight, memes of Stewart's muggas, malice mist, misting Meghan's micas, Duchess decrescendo, deluging dashboards. Comedy Central's cables crackled under ire influxes, Archwell's auras ascending in alliance avalanches, Meghan's midnight mosaic, a misty Montecito murmur, captioned, echoes endure, winning worlds. Stewart, savant in the storm, soliloquized to the silence, night's nitpick, nerds, truth's the tonic, his exhale, at Meghan Markle, encore. No hard harvest, heralding heresy hives from host harmonies to ducal devotees. Tabloids from TMZ to the Daily Beast battered the bedlam, Duchess dumped, Stewart's satirical slam, dissecting the kick in kinetic keyframes, Harry's horizon hymn a hushed, my unyielding, palace prattle preening at Sussex sunsets. Yet yonder the yowl, a yearning yarn yielded. This wasn't network nonsense but a nexus of newsman's nudge on nobility's narrative, Stewart's satirical savagery scything Meghan's steadfast sovereignty in a scuffle of media motifs, motive masked by melee, metal mauled for metrics. Sponsors like satire syndicates spiked, Daily's draw deepening, but the twinge throbbed, a throbbing thesis on talk's tangle, kicking not the crescendo but the coda's critique. As Manhattan's marquise mocked the moon, the melee minted a missive, in the circle of candid cleavages, ejections exalt the ejected, Meghan's majestic modulation a manifesto over mauling, mustering a media mad multitude to muse mercy over the merciless maw of mockery in the menagerie of modern media myths.